A judge has sentenced a West Vancouver woman for crashing her SUV into a wedding, leaving 2 guests dead and 7 others injured. The victims' families were disheartened, but not surprised by today's sentence. And as Shannon Patterson reports, the bride's family is speaking publicly about the tragedy for the very first time.
As Hong Zhu arrived at North Vancouver Provincial Court to be sentenced for driving her SUV into a wedding party, the families of the 2 women who died were preparing for an outcome they believe is a grave injustice.
What do you think of the sentence being recommended? $2,000 fine and 5-year driving prohibition.
It's an outrage. It's an absolute outrage. This is something that is of a minor traffic offense. We're talking about 2 lives.
Nigel Kong's 67-year-old mother Annie was killed when Zhu crashed her Range Rover into a neighbor's wedding celebration in West Vancouver 2 years ago. An investigation determined she hit the gas instead of the brake. The bride's aunt, 62-year-old Liu Nguyen, was also killed.
That's my daughter. That's the wedding day. You know, I right beside talking to other guests when the SUV come over.
What happened that day wasn't just some broken fence post or flowers. People died, people got maimed, children were injured, children are scarred, and that's not okay.
But in the eyes of the law, it wasn't a crime. On Monday, Zhu pleaded guilty to the Motor Vehicle Act offense of driving without due care and attention.
In sentencing Zhu, the judge says her behavior has been denounced and she has been shamed by her conduct and consequences. As expected, the 65-year-old was handed a $2,000 fine and 5-year driving prohibition.
The fine that the defendant received is incredibly unfair for the damages, the death, the injuries, and the trauma that was resulted from her accident.
Do you think she should have been charged criminally, maybe dangerous driving causing death?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But Zhu's lawyer says the charge was correct and so was the sentence.
We in Canada don't jail people for inadvertent mistakes. We don't do that unless there's a criminal element of fault to it. And here, there was no criminal fault. The police agree, the Crown agrees, I agree, we all agree.
Since Zhu wasn't charged criminally, ICBC's no-fault insurance model prevents the victims' families from pursuing a civil case.
What happens is that we have no further recourse, but we have no further ability to understand what really happened.
As far as the law is concerned, the case is over. But for the families, the grieving continues. Shannon Patterson, CTV News, North Vancouver.